Hello everyone, this is another hologram guide featuring Hecate, the new hologram boss for 2.1. This will be a informative guide talking about the different attacks Hecate will do and how to parry or dodge them. I just want to make a disclaimer that this boss can be hard on the eyes because of how many things are on the screen. The visual cues for this boss are hard to see, and that most of the attacks are more about memorizing them. You'll find yourself overwhelmed and end up dying a lot when facing Hecate, so it's okay if you're struggling to beat it in your first few attempts. Without further ado, let's get straight into the guide. Hecate can do 2 attacks in the beginning of the fight. Hecate can open up with an AoE attack, which Hecate will slam the ground, then summon 3 eyes that will target you and shoot lasers at you. A simple way to dodge the attack is when her puppet's scythe turns red and is positioned like this. Hecate will then slam the ground. Then when the eyes summon, once you see the line that is targeting you is glowing, that is when you should dodge. Hecate can also open up with her parry attack. This consists of 4 parry attacks and 2 non-parry attacks. Hecate will jump backwards, then swing from the left, jump back and swing from the right, jump back, twirl, then swing from the left. If you parry the 3rd attack, Hecate will tumble to the ground. If you don't parry, Hecate will spin backwards and slide attack towards you. If you miss this parry attack, Hecate will be in the air and do a slam attack with an explosion right after. With this opener over, here are other attacks that the hologram boss can do. If you're ever behind Hecate or slightly to her side, Hecate will summon a puppet and do a slash while sliding backwards. She will then send 3 projectiles towards you while sending 2 projectiles to the side. Those 2 projectiles to the side will fly towards you, so you will have to dodge. This whole sequence of attack is very fast and there is barely any visuals to know when the boss will attack. To find the timing, the start of the attack is when you see this white and black flash and the puppet summoned in front of her. There's an audio cue of when this attack will happen. When you hear this audio, dodge immediately. For the projectiles, you will need to dodge when you see Hecate in this position, then dodge a second right after. This attack is poorly done because this requires a lot of trial and error on getting the timing down. Once you get past the projectiles, Hecate will summon 5 projectiles behind her and they will shoot in a fixed direction. You can either dodge or parry these. I recommend parrying these projectiles as they do a good chunk of vibration damage, and it's even better if your character has an AoE attack. Probably one of Hecate's anxiety-inducing attacks is when she summons 3 blade projectiles, a puppet, and 3 eyes. All I can say is don't panic, and the order you want to dodge is completely up to you. If you dodge the projectiles, you will need to dodge the lasers. You can move away from the projectiles and dodge the puppet instead to only dodge once, but it's up to you on what you want to dodge in this situation. If you see Hecate twirl backwards, she will summon 3 projectiles behind her and throw a fan projectile towards you. The order of attacks is fan projectile, 3 circular blade projectiles, fan projectile, 3 circular blade projectiles. You can parry the circular blade projectiles by dodging the fan projectiles and do a dodge attack right after. Timing here is tight as she immediately throws her second fan projectile, but it's the same method of parrying. After the projectiles, Hecate will twirl backwards again and dash towards you doing a parry attack. You can either dodge or do a parry, but I recommend doing a parry. This next attack, Hecate will skip in the air twice before striking. See a tiny visual cue here and an audio cue to know when to dodge the attack. Then Hecate will disappear and spawn a spirit in her place. The spirit will have a flash on its head to attack, but Hecate will reappear again to strike during this time, so you will end up dodging Hecate's attack instead. Hecate will also spawn 3 eyes to shoot lasers at you, so you will need to dodge the lasers right after Hecate's attack. One of Hecate's longer combos is when Hecate twirls towards the left and lifts her right leg up high. She will then slash diagonally, jump up in the air, and do a vertical slash towards the ground. Then Hecate will slash upwards into the air, turn upside down, and shoot 2 projectiles from the side towards you. Then she'll do a dropkick, circle explosion, summon 4 projectiles that come out of Hecate, and then shoot the same projectiles towards you. It is a lot to remember because the attacks are relentless, one after the other. To dodge the whole sequence of attacks, when Hecate is about to diagonally slash, there is a black and white flash that appears and an audio cue. Then, when you see this red light appearing, dodge immediately. Pause for a second, then dodge the upward slash. When Hecate is upside down and you see this light appear, immediately dodge as the projectiles are very fast when they appear. Once this light disappears, or you hear this audio cue, dodge again. A flower in a circle will appear and after a second it will explode. This is a very faint sound cue. but I would just wait for a second, then dodge right after. Right after the explosion, if you are anywhere close to Hecate, preemptively dodge as she will summon 4 projectiles out of her and dodge her 4 projectiles when she sends it towards you. If you end up dodging away, you don't need to worry about dodging right after the explosion, but you will need to dodge the projectiles as they fly towards you. There is an alternate version where the combo is rather shorter when Hecate does the diagonal slash and does a vertical slash towards the ground. If you are behind or by her side, she will instead do a spin attack and do an AoE explosion with her puppets. Then she summons 3 eyes that will shoot lasers at you. While this combo is shorter, it is more risky as you have to set up for this combo because sometimes you are still not far enough to be behind Hecate and you're still considered in front of the boss. If you see Hecate lift their left leg and do a 180 motion like this, Hecate will do a spinning attack while spawning 2 puppets by her side. I recommend sticking on her and pressing dodge. Her tornado counts as a hitbox and the puppets as well. A good indication of when Hecate stops is when the puppets disappear. She will crouch and do a explosion on top of her. This triggers Hecate to spawn 5 puppets, 2 on top of her and 3 to throw towards you as a projectile. You will only need to dodge the 3 projectiles unless you are on top of the boss. Hecate will have 3 attacks depending on the distance between you and the boss. If you are at a medium to kind of close distance, Hecate will dash towards you doing a backflip attack. There are 2 types of attacks Hecate can do. This one is a more simple attack where Hecate will spawn 3 eyes and 3 puppets. You will just need to dodge the puppets. 2, Hecate will spawn 3 eyes after the backflip, dodge the lasers, and Hecate will also do a backflip attack and spawn 3 more eyes. Then you have to dodge those lasers as well. Now if you are really far away from Hecate, Hecate will spawn 2 puppets to attack you and then teleport in front of you doing an AoE attack. This will summon 5 projectiles behind her that you can parry. This is all the phase 1 attacks and we are halfway done. Once you deplete the first bar of health, we move on to phase 2 of the hologram fight and Hecate gets a brand new set of attacks. Once the first bar of health is gone, Hecate will disappear and about 20 projectiles will spawn. They spawn in intervals of 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 3, 3, 4 projectiles at a time. Just dodge these projectiles once they start flying towards you. Once the 23 projectiles are finished, Hecate will teleport to the middle of the arena and do a time freeze on your character after I believe 2 to 3 seconds after appearing. Hecate will do a 2 to 3 second motion, then once this black and white flash disappears, dodge as she will dash towards you to attack. If you fail to dodge this, your character will get one shot via a cutscene that Hecate does. Now, during the second phase of the fight, it gets visually crazier and more dodge intensive. Basically a formula of bullshit that is going to happen. To start off, it is basically like the first phase. There are attacks Hecate can do when you are close, when you are at a distance, and when you are far away. Starting with the close attacks. There is a attack where Hecate turns the sword into a whip and jumps up in the air. All of these attacks are parryable, but it is a bit weird. You have to preemptively attack before the parry circle closes in. Melee resonators will have it easier than rectifiers or gun resonators, so if you're looking to damage the vibration strength, use a melee character. What works for me is doing a basic attack and dodge immediately after. For some reason, the parry still goes off, but in an obvious note, it is different for every resonator. Starting off the attack, Hecate will jump up in the air very quickly and do a whip attack. Hecate will come down onto the ground and do another whip attack. She will then slide either to the left or right before doing another whip attack. Spin around, then move to the left doing another attack, and then the final attack is when she jumps up and spins multiple times before doing a whip slam onto the ground. Hecate will place flowers on the ground and it's recommended to move out of the way as they explode and she sends circular blades. To recap, jump whip attack, ground whip attack, slide into whip attack, spin, then left slide whip attack, then a jump spinning attack, and lastly, flower explosion. This attack chain can catch you off guard in the beginning because of how fast it comes out, so you might end up getting hit once if you're not paying attention. When Hecate goes into this particular stance like she's going to do ballet, Hecate will strike about 4 times with an explosion at the end. For the start of the attack, she will slash from the left and send projectiles, then swipe from the left side again, then swipe again from the left side. Hecate will then go into this pose and pause. Until you see this flash, Hecate will do a spin attack and summon a circle of circular blades around Hecate. You will need to dodge the spinning attack and dodge the whole circle of blades. At the very end, the whole circular area around Hecate will explode, so you will need to dodge this too. I also want to include that this attack can be visually buggy as well because Hecate does the same attack, but you don't see the circular blade projectiles, and at the end when Hecate spin attack, You don't see any visuals, so I'm not sure if this is intentional or Kuro needs to fix this visual bug. There is a similar attack Hecate does, but this time Hecate will turn the sword into a whip. You'll know Hecate will start to attack when the whip starts to glow bright pink. Hecate will slash from the left side, sending bladed projectiles, and again from the left side. Then Hecate will summon 5 projectiles behind her to send towards you. One of Hecate's most notorious attacks is when she spins for a good amount of time and shoots projectiles towards you. You'll know Hecate will do this because Hecate will transform the sword into a whip and shake it above her head. If you see a red-white flash on Hecate's head, that is when Hecate will start spinning. I also want to mention that this attack will always occur after the parry attack, so you can telegraph this upcoming attack. This isn't really much to say here, but I recommend hugging next to the hologram because spinning counts as a hitbox, and the projectiles Hecate throws towards you can be very inconsistent from far away. I would be careful here because you can still get hit by the circular saws even though you should have iframes. Once the spinning stops, Hecate will pause slightly, then swing. There will be a black and white flash and an audio cue to indicate when to dodge. If you are at a distance but not too far away, Hecate will dash towards you and do a backflip attack, then slash downwards while sending a projectile towards you. And summon 2 projectiles on the ground that circle around to hit you. You have to dodge these projectiles about 3 times, so this attack can be very sudden if you have never seen this attack before, and there's no visual indication on when Hecate will do the series of attacks after the backflip. Hecate's most dangerous attack is when you are very far away from Hecate. Hecate will disappear and reappear by dash attacking and repeating this attack again. Hecate will then do an X slash on the ground. For the finality of this attack, a circular saw will fly upwards if you are under the slashes. This attack is very fast and sudden, so I recommend avoiding this attack at all costs and close any distance so you're at least melee range from Hecate. The last attack Hecate does is when she teleports to the center of the arena and flies up high. Once Hecate is up in the air, she will summon a cone arena to isolate you, summon 4 circular saws that circle around the arena, and summon about 4 eyes in 3 intervals. I think the only hazard here is the lasers that the eye shoots out, but I've never been hit by the circular saws before, so I don't know if they actually do any damage. Once Hecate summons all 12 eyes, Hecate will come to the ground and do a whole cone AoE that you will have to dodge. A black and white flash will appear when Hecate does this attack, so that's when you dodge. We have reached the end of the move list that Hecate does. I think this boss is fun in the sense of learning how the attacks work, but fighting Hecate was a whole different beast. If you like this guide, give it a like and comment down below if you're able to beat the hologram. Subscribe for future content like this or other content if I do upload. Thanks.